Right, so this aphoristic style that he writes in, so it's he turns to this style um, specifically. He starts out as a regular philosopher, writing in an essayistic form, monographic form, long sort of text and narrative essayistic form, and then he changes his view on things, or he realizes that the philosophy that he wants to do requires not only content, but it requires, a certain content, but it requires a certain form. And so he turns to the aphoristic form instead of, we'll call it aphoristic metaphorical form, rather than the grammatical, logical form that is, part of standard sort of intellectual writing and intellectual debate. So he makes a move to this more poetic, aphoristic, metaphorical form because his philosophy is basically an anti-systematic philosophy. So his critique of Western philosophy and the Western tradition from Socrates, Plato, Aristotle on is that it is overly systematic, overly rational, and ultimately overly authoritarian, right? So that it is this scientific logical model that is driving toward one truth, sort of one specialization, one disciplinization, sort of what we would call a teleological idea of the truth. And he sees this this teleological, this specialization aspect of Western thought as being problematic, being unhealthy, and causing a lot of problems within Western culture. So he sees Western culture as being sort of psychologically damaged and unhealthy, perhaps even traumatized by the standard story of Western philosophy. So he turns to aphorisms, which are non-systematic. They're operating more with metaphor rather than rational grammatical structures, subject, verb, object, punctuation, all that. So he's operating in a much more poetic, aesthetic form, anarchic, non-systematic, associative, right, hyperbolic, which he thinks is, a much better way to, sort of see multiple realities and multiple perspectives.